The rain in coastal Maine did not fall. It bled from the clouds in thin, silvery veins. Mara, 35, the faint perfume of turpentine clinging to her skin, stepped from the rented car and tasted the brine-heavy air. Beside her, Simone, a 40-something sunburned from life, careless in her optimism, smirked as though nothing terrible could happen on vacation. The town of Grayson sprawled ahead in silence. No gulls. No footsteps. Only windows staring out like dead eyes. From between two shuttered shops he emerged, the storm painting his flannel to his skin, muscles shifting beneath the wet fabric. Handsome. Rugged. His smile lingered too long, his eyes glinting like polished bone. "Not many come here this time of year," he rasped. The word scraped the air. Mara thought, just for a breath, that something moved beneath the flesh of his jaw, as though his skin was wearing him. The inn smelled faintly of rot, disguised under stale lavender. One lamp burned in the corner, its flame shivering like it knew it shouldn't be here. Fish lined the walls, mounted, dead, their cloudy eyes staring, mouths frozen in a chorus of silent screams. Mara's gaze drifted from shadow to shadow. Each corner seemed wide enough for someone to stand in and watch. It began with Simone's scream, but not the kind meant for rescue. It was the sound of a body realizing it would never be whole again. Mara burst into the kitchen. The stranger's hand smothered Simone's mouth, her eyes wide, veins straining in her temples. In his other hand, the fishing gaff gleamed, a curved fang of rust and cruelty. It slid into her belly with the hiss of tearing parchment. It sank deep, hooked, and then pulled, a brutal unzipping from navel to breastbone. The wallpaper bloomed red. The mounted fish wept crimson from their glass eyes. When he let her go, Simone slid down the wall, spilling warmth across the floor, her body already forgetting how to be alive. Mara ran into the storm. Rain and blood braided down her face. The town warped in the darkness, streets that turned on themselves, alleys that ended in black water. Behind her, his boots struck the cobblestone, not hurried, but measured, like a heartbeat, like something that knew it would have her in the end. She ducked into a fisherman's shed, dark, damp, smelling of hemp rope and old blood. For a breath, she thought she'd lost him. And then he was there, not stepping in, just appearing. He gripped her jaw like a butcher testing a cut of meat. His thumb crushed into her cheek, his fingers worming toward the hinge of bone. Pop, then another. Then the slow twist, vertebrae snapping like dry sticks. Her head turned too far, skin along her throat stretching until it split in a thin red seam. When she fell, the sound was wet rope hitting the floor. The pier writhed under the storm, planks groaning like they felt pain ropes lashed around Mara's ankles, dragging her toward the churning black below. His voice seeped from the fog, promising beauty. The sea would smooth her down into something perfect. His boots drew closer, matching the pulse in her ears. Her hand found a broken bottle, the glass biting into her palm, blending her blood with the rain. She slashed blindly, the jagged edge sinking into him. Hot spray kissed her hand. His step faltered. The rope went loose. Morning came. The town was alive. Children laughing, fishermen hauling nets, shop doors yawning open. Salt and blood crusted to her skin. Mara staggered into the street. Every face that turned toward her smiled too slowly, too wide, eyes sharp as hooks. And in the back, leaning on a post, was the stranger. His flannel was dry, his hands spotless.